For BamaCentral.com, I'm Clay Miller, and this is the Extra Point. I'm here today with Joey Blackwell. And Joey, we've seen a lot of interesting moves lately in the Alabama football world, but they finally got a victory over Georgia as Jermaine Burton, one of the top wide receiver transfers, decided to come to Alabama. Also, Jaylen Moody, a linebacker currently at Alabama, decided to stay. So I want to ask, what do you think about the addition of Jermaine Burton to now Alabama's wide receiver room?
Well, Jermaine Burton's obviously going to be a huge addition for Alabama. He's a rising junior. He was viewed as a top receiving target in the transfer portal. 6', 200-pound playmaker. He's coming off a sophomore season in which he led Georgia, the national championship team, Georgia. He led all Georgia wideouts with 497 receiving yards, and he also had 5 touchdowns and 26 receptions. Biggest thing, though, is that, his production came on just 30 targets. He didn't record a drop all season, something the Alabama wide receivers struggled this year. And when you have, 4 departing wide receivers for the Crimson Tide, as well as, a key pass catcher running back in Brian Robinson Jr. and tight end Jaleel Billingsley, Alabama's losing a combined 276 receptions this year and almost 4,000 receiving yards. So really big pickup for them with Jermaine Burton. I expect him to be an instant impact player, kind of like how we saw with Jameson Williams last season.
You mentioned right there that Jermaine Burton is really needed because they're losing a lot at the wide receiver position. But on the other side of the spectrum, we got news that Henry To'oTo'o will be coming back at linebackers. They have several others returning. And then now Jaylen Moody decides he is going to return for his 5th-year senior season. So talk a little bit about what that means for him playing this next season and what that means for Alabama going forward.
The big thing Alabama's bringing back with Moody is his experience. He recently wrapped up his 4th season in Alabama, but he's eligible for one more due to that NCAA, kind of blanket eligibility due to COVID-19. Last season, he played in all 15 games for Alabama. He recorded 11 tackles and an interception. He mostly served as a backup at inside linebacker, but at the same time, he was also one of Alabama's biggest special teams contributors. He worked on every unit except for field goals and extra point protection. Alabama, will be without one of its starting linebackers this past year, as Christian Harris elected to go, to the NFL draft. But, he will be coming, but Henry To'oTo'o, like you said, will be coming back. So it'll also return, and To'oTo'o was their leading tackler last year at inside linebacker. So with Christian Harris leaving, Moody's expected to compete with Deontay Lawson as well as, Demoy Kennedy for the starting spot at will linebacker. And, just like I said, to begin this little portion here of just the experience of him coming back that he brings with him is going to be key for Alabama next year.
For sure. So once again, Jermaine Burton transfers to Alabama, get a big pickup there at wide receiver, and Jaylen Moody decides to stay. Thank you so much for joining me today, Joey. Once again, I'm Clay Miller for BamaCentral.com, and this has been the Extra Point.